Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for January 11th, 2021, with your host, Spacebaker2448, and Wrap It Up Salon.
Hi.
Also, Glock's here to comment on the things he's about to hear.
And to be very spoiled.
Yes. Because I'm sure he's going to be very confused by things I say, because he's going to be like, wait, what? Yes, you heard me right. Like, the end of this 4th episode, I'm sure he's going to be like, how? And I'll be honest, I have no answer. I have no answer for how that went down. All I could say, it was a really cool visual, and this is why I love this series. Is because they give me this stupid shit on a episode by episode basis. I'm okay with that. So folks, it's the last 5 episodes, episodes 21 through 25 of Build Fighters Try. How you feeling going into these?
Kind of mixed. Not gonna lie. I kind of at one point don't want to end, but at the other point know that we kind of have to.
Yeah. This is why we needed the season 3, because the end of this fucking show is just like, hey, by the way, there's a world tournament, you know, the thing from last season. What if we had that with like returning characters and stuff, you know? What if we had all that? And I'm just like, yes? Please? Especially with how the last episode of the series teases us with a couple fights, and I'm like, no, I need to see that full fight. No, I want to see these two slug it out. But yeah, I don't even know if it could be a thing anymore of a season 3 of Build Fighters, since they've moved on to Build Divers. Which isn't to say that Build Divers is bad. Like, the first season is okay. The second season is a lot better. But it's not this.
Right.
It's VR Gundam, and I'm like, alright, VR Gundam's cool and all, but I want Toy Gundam.
Which I think is fair.
Like, it removes a little bit of the drama of, like, the actual, like toys being damaged. It's just like, it's VR Gundam. Nothing's at stake. Until the second season, where it's just like, oh no, shit's at stake now. I'm like, okay. even though they just repair these things like it's no problem all the time. So, anything else before we hit the recap?
Don't guess so.
Alright, we're gonna go 3-2 on this recap, so we're gonna cover the first 3 episodes, and then the last 2, because that makes sense with how the episodes pace themselves out, so that's how I'm going to cover it. So we'll kick off with episode 21, Blue Wings! So we kick off with Lucas deciding who his teammates are going to be for his fight against G Academy. That he doesn't know he's fighting G Academy yet, but shh. Of course he's fighting G Academy. Who the fuck else would he be fighting?
Right.
In this Final 4, who else would he... What else is this breakdown?
Yeah.
But that's when Nemesis Prime from last season shows up with the people from... the support people, I guess, from last season or something. I don't know. And he's just like, nah, I don't want to talk to him. Just go sightseeing or something. I don't care. I'm busy. Although I do like that he's just like, oh yeah, I am doing what Alia told me, which is to go whoop ass on my own terms. And all of a sudden I have like 5 world titles.
Yeah.
Or 5 European titles. Meanwhile, we check in with Tri Fighters as they're repairing Tri Burning again. They're going to be doing a lot of repairing in between battles.
Well, I mean, we are at the end game.
Yeah. Fubida is sad that she can't build an amazing Gunpla like Sei can. But I love how Yua's just like, don't worry, he's kind of a monster when it comes to building and fighting.
Yeah.
You'll get there one day.
Yeah, I love that.
Also, apparently, Sekai isn't completely stupid because he can cook his own food, and that's why he can at least be decent at building stuff currently. Which makes sense. If he's training out in the wilderness, he's got to be able to make his own food.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Minato's working on Tryon 3, as we got a video in the background talking about the Final Four with Mirai. He's just happy to have a team and to be fighting and stuff. And they're happy to be on a team and fighting and stuff, so good for all of them.
Hello, I am back. Hold 1 minute.
Nope.
We're talking the first of our 5 episodes of Build Fighters Try. And by that, I mean the last 5 episodes of Build Fighters Try. Be prepared to be very confused by the things I say, Glock.
Okay. Tier 1. Here.
But at this point, we head to, I guess, a bar nearby where Yuki meets up with Alan, and they have a drink over Alan's team being really good and reminding him of Yuki. And it's like, all right, I like having a good team. Yuki's like, hey, you got a good team. Congrats. Hopefully they get to whoop ass on the big stage. And don't face me on the world stage, because I think Yuki's still active.
Oh, most definitely.
I think the only person who's technically retired is Niels from the original cast.
Yeah, and that's because of reasons.
Yeah. So next day, we're setting the Final Four because we're doing the whole randomization to make the Final Four, because I guess we didn't want to bother like properly mapping out the tournament to get this Final Four naturally.
That, and I probably didn't think it through.
Yeah, I didn't even bother looking at the bracket to see if it would lead to this Final Four or not. I should go back and look at that. But the Final Four break down to Celestial Sphere, which is G Academy, versus Von Braun, which is Lucas's team, and Tri Fighters versus Build Busters. So it'll be Yuma versus Minato, like it should be.
Because, I mean, of course.
And I love at this point, everyone starts declaring what they're going to do.
Yep.
Just everyone's like, no, I'm going to win. No, I'm going to win. No, I'm going to whip your ass because of these reasons. Of like, guys, calm down. We're very aware of your intents. We're very aware of your motivations. And I love also that I think it's Saga who breaks this up. He's like, hey, let's just go fight. I want to go fight.
Which I know it's kind of jumping the gun, but I also kind of feel like that helps paint his motivation for what he does later.
Yeah.
So, good on them for sneaking that in there.
Mm-hmm. But before we get to the first match, which is Celestial Sphere versus Von Braun, we get to check in with some of the other teams from the tournament that are out and not attending the tournament anymore, but are at home watching the tournament instead of being there watching it. Are you not allowed back if you lose?
I'm getting the feeling that's the case.
But like Minato's back for the finals. He's in the audience watching with one of the other people on his team.
Yeah.
So why aren't you just there?
Too much hassle.
Apparently. But they're divided on their predictions between whether it'll be Gunpla Academy or Lucas, because, Gunpla Academy is really strong, but also Lucas is a fucking monster. And his Gundam is stupid. But our match is set. The field is a bunch of floating rocks in a sky. I feel like I have a comparison for this, but I can't think of it at the moment. I don't know, Skyloft? It's not the right comparison, but it's the only thing I can think of at the moment.
I mean, that might actually be the closest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our team is deployed. Lucas has got his... I forget the full name of it, but it's the full cloth. Wilfred's got his transient Gundam. She has got the G-Potent. Saga's got Gundam the End. Can we tone it back some, sir? Tone it down some. But they end up encountering Lucas solo right off the bat, and Lucas immediately shows that, oh, I'm kind of stronger than the entire team, because he's able to deflect both of the transient and G-Potent's blasts, and also just annihilate all of Saga's fangs. Just all of them, including the big one he uses. Just like, nah, I'm gonna slice that in half. Nah. Saga ends up taking a direct hit at this point, but he continues to go in. Lucas ends up losing his main gun to Saga, which causes him to retreat, with Saga chasing him. And Wilfred, calculating where he's going to be on the other side of this massive rock, manages to fire and directly hit Lucas, forcing him to shield up, which forces him to retreat into the clouds. Thus begins the...
Which says a lot for him.
Yeah. Which now begins the long, drawn-out cat and mouse game of this match. Because he retreats, joins up with one of his other teammates while Severe regroups. Shia actually ends up getting baited out by one of Lucas's teammates, which leads to Lucas using the Core Fighter, which is this little ship thing that plugs into the back of his Gundam, to attack Shia, break through her shield, and actually damage her shoulder. And for him, seemingly take her out of the fight. Which I'm just like, okay, she's going to suffer far more damage than this in the last fight and still be kicking. I think you're underestimating G-Potent on its base level performance.
Oh, most definitely.
But Lucas now retreats, gets back to his proper Gundam. Shia just kind of hangs out behind a rock to do repairs, because her Gundam comes with a bunch of repair droids that are really tiny, but are filled with all the materials to repair her Gundam. Which I love how Fumina will point out in a couple episodes of just like, those are fucking tiny and are filled with the materials you need to repair a Gundam, and are also remotely operated by her. To repair a Gundam, she is not able to see outside of the cameras on those Gundams, I think. Or on those droids, I think. That's a bit stupid, but okay. But the team is left baffled because Lucas's performance isn't dropping. He's as strong as he is the entire match. And they're like, that's not right. You should be running out of gas. Why does he keep having gas? Why does he keep having a full tank? And until they go, oh, his teammates are refueling him. That's why they're doing these hit and run tactics. So they chase after Lucas once more. Damage as Lucas manages to damage Gundam the End enough to be able to retreat. One of his teammates ends up sacrificing himself to keep Celestial Sphere like in place for a little bit, so he can get away to his next teammate. But he's immediately taken out, I believe, by Saga, because he's just like, nah, fuck you, you're dead. I'm gonna use my stomach mouth to chew you up. But as Lucas is retreating to his next teammate, that teammate is immediately sniped by Shia, fully repaired. And he's like, shit. That's not good. So it's 3v1, and technically Celestial Sphere can win by not doing anything, because you can win by just having the numbers game. But Wilfred's like, fuck that, I want to fight him and I want to win properly, so I'm going to fight him one-on-one. Because who wants strategy in this show?
I mean, to be fair, we do get the timeout go into overtime, so I mean, why burn that now?
Yeah. Also, no one was keeping an eye on the clock in that match, and when we get to it,
yeah,
that surprised everyone. Anyway, so Wilfred fights Lucas. Two of them clash. Lucas is actually the stronger one of the two. And until Wilfred decides, fuck this, pull in my trump card, which is his own super mode, which is Transient Burst, which gives his Gundam like big giant blue wings. And it's pretty much, it's Burning Burst, but blue, and not fire. Sometimes. It depends. So, massive explosion off the two of them clashing with Wilfred's super mode on. Does clears. Both of them are damaged. Wilfred seemingly more so, until Lucas's Gundam falls over, giving Celestial Fear the win and moving them on to the finals. Which takes us to episode 22, Follow Your Heart. Lupus thanks his team for doing what they can, because you're more or less supporting him and making sure he can function. There's not much you can do. And I like that even when his coach is just like, your team should have been better, he's like, no, they did their job. They did what they were supposed to do. I fucked up. This one's on me. I'm like, fair. At least you're not an asshole. You're better than your grandfather already.
Yep.
Your grandfather was a shithead.
Oh, the biggest.
But he does shake hands with Wilfred, and it's just like, rematch? And Wilfred's like, rematch. I want a proper 1v1 match between these two.
Yeah.
Granted, there's a lot of things I want coming out of this series, but I guess we'll never have those. But Celestial Fear also takes this win hard, since, you know, they all fucked up respectively and took a good bit of damage. Like, it's the first proper match where they have got their asses handed to them a little bit. And Alan's just like, well, you're inexperienced. You might not be ready for the world stage, but this is what you have to expect. You gotta be better. And they're like, yep. Which, at this point, actually, Sekai runs into Lucas because Tri-Fighters caught the end of this match. And I guess Sekai went to check in with Lucas, and Lucas is like, hey, you're really good. I want to fight you someday. At that place. And he shows up in his drama shades to be like, the World Tournament, where everyone gets to, go buck wild with stuff. Maybe you should be there, since that's what your name means. And I'm like, why is there no season 3? Fuck's sakes. You are so hard leaning on, yeah, Sekai needs to go to the world stage and, fight some of the people from the first time. And some of the people from the first season need to fight some of the people from the second season. Just, god damn it.
Mhm.
Why is there no season 3 of this series? Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. But meanwhile, Minato and Yuma more or less settle their thing for the whole season about Yuma not being a fighter until now and why. More or less, they're going into this battle like not completely angry at each other anymore, I guess. I'll be honest, I didn't write down much for this section.
I mean,
So we get
fair.
to yeah. So we go to the match. It's Build Busters versus Tri Fighters in some random city map because I don't know. Both teams get some pep talk in. Tri Fighters are going on the plan of, all right, they're stupid strong when they transform and combine. We don't let them combine. Even if they're combining, we blow them up because that will work. Apparently, no one is genre savvy and thinking, wait, don't they have shields for this stuff? Oops. Didn't think about that part.
Didn't think it through.
Yeah. So yeah, they meet in the city center. They try to shoot the three smaller animal robots. All of them block the shots with their own. They do their transformation sequence. They try once more to blow them all up, but they have a shield, so they get their full transformation. And now it's Tryon 3's formed, and now Tri Fighters is a bit fucked. So Sekai tries to block one of the rocket fists from Tryon 3 with one of his punches, but it just gets to hold him in place while he gets a boomerang to the back. And because of his whole assimilation thing, yeah, he's not doing any of his fancy moves this rest of this match. Because his back is now incredibly fucked. So Tryon 3 is charging up its crest beam thing, its crest laser. Fumina goes into her room mode, fires a winning beam to counter it, and Yuma puts his big barrels on his guns and fires both of his. So now it's Beam Clash from Dragon Ball. And now they try to counter each other by putting more power into it. I think Minato keeps doing more of his fancy moves, and the only one Tri Fighters is able to do is for Fumina to just put everything into her winning beam, and it doesn't work. So Tryon 3 wins the beam clash. Everyone gets knocked back. Sekai gets thrown into the two of them because the legs on Tryon 3 also double as claws, so he just gets tossed around. And then they all get stuck in an orb. And Tryon 3 draws its big-ass sword. Because it's time for the finish. Or it's time for Tryon 3's finisher. So it does 3 strikes at the orb containing Tri Fighters and seemingly blows them right the fuck up. Except it didn't, because Fumina and Sekai did their best to shield Yuma, and he's mostly undamaged, whereas the two of them are fucked. Winning is in pieces. I think Tri-Burning is in less pieces, but it is missing armor. Which is funny because Sekai doesn't have a proper shield. Whereas Fumina does, and somehow she's the worst off of the 3 of them.
I mean, reasons.
Yeah. But they both protect Yuma. Both of them fall and are offline. They're out of the match because they're done. So now it's Yuma versus pretty much the whole of Build Busters as Tryon 3. So once more, Beam Clash. Tryon 3 fires a laser. Yuma fires a laser through Fumina's power gate. They collide, cause a massive explosion, and now they're both in the crater where the city was. Both badly damaged, and Trion 3 swords destroyed, so he can't do the sword stuff again. Oh no. But at this point, Minato realizes, wait, it's technically 3 versus 1. If I back off because we're losing gas, we win.
Sorry, go ahead.
And he attempts to run, only for Yuma to be like, no, we'll come after you. And for the rest of Minato's team to be like, no, go fight him. No, you did all this to fight him, go fight him. So now they fight each other. So they charge at each other. Yuma sacrifices his backpack to blow up Trion 3's arms when he does his rocket punches. They trade fire while closing the distance between them, end up blowing up each other's guns with the last possible shot. Somehow, because that's not how bullets work. Or in this case, laser beams work. I'm pretty sure the laser beams should have collided.
Probably, yeah.
So, with no arms and less guns, Trion 3 charges its head beam again. Yuma tries to stab it in the chest with his lightsaber. Ends up getting his hand eaten by the tiger head on the front of the Gundam. So he has to blow up his own arm to get away. But he only gets far enough away that it only blows up his legs. So now, legless and with limited mobility, he thankfully landed near one of his guns. Which, as Minato's charging up and trying to shoot at him, he pulls the gun on him and fires a shot directly into the head of Trion 3 to keep shooting until the clip's empty. Which makes me go, when did these things have clips?
Yes.
But clipped empty, Trion 3 falls, giving Build Fighters the win and moving them on to the finals. And we end off the episode proper, and like a little extra scene after the credits where Minato's sorry that he couldn't take the team farther, but thankful that he got to fight with them. And Yuma shows up and is like, yo, you wanted to fight me at this builders competition? I'm gonna fight you at this builders competition. Because fuck it, I do both. I'll kick your ass at both of them. So we'll get back to that in the last episode. But that takes us to our third episode and last of the first half of these episodes, with episode 23, Build Fighter. So Mirai intros us in, but pretty much saying we're on a 2-day break before the finals to give both teams time to do repairs and to tune for the final fight. Wilfred will be repairing Transient Gundam on his own. Saga will be off doing his own thing, I guess. Sir not appearing in most of this episode, leaving Gundam the Yin Tashia for her to repair and tune up. And Tri-Fighters are left with most of their Gundams blown right the fuck up and having to repair them in 2 days. And I'm pretty sure just about out of the repair materials they got from, say, a couple episodes ago.
Oh, most definitely.
Like, yes, they had a whole second build burning. I'm pretty sure they've used all the spare parts on it by now. Which is probably what brings on what you won't get into until like the end of the next episode.
Fair.
But while Tri-Fighters is doing repairs on their Gunpla, Ral drops by with intel from the Sheikah brothers, who are like, hey, You better win, otherwise we look bad because we lost to you. So here's all our data on Celestial Sphere. Go win. And it pretty much recaps everything we knew about them to start with. It's just that Tri-Fighters now knows. So Transient has the super mode. Gundam the End has a trump card that isn't that big of a trump card, but more of just a weak point. And we'll get to it in the 4th episode. And G-Potent has repair capabilities and all her shield stuff. Essentially, they're a stupidly strong team. And they kind of do the thing that Tri-Fighters does, where it's like close-up attack, long-range attack, support. It's almost like they're set up that way on purpose.
Yeah, almost.
But after this recap, we cut over to Wilfred, who bonds with Alan a little bit. So they talk about Gundams and just saying, hey, you're team leader because you remind me of Yuki. And you're doing a good job.
Which, I mean, is like completely fair.
Yeah. Like, weirdly, that's like one of the things I liked about both of these shows is that there's no outright antagonist. Outside of like the one asshole from... Well, okay, the handful of assholes from the first season. Like, we don't run into antagonistic people. We just run into people who are just straight up rivals.
Yeah. Yeah. You're exactly right on that.
Like, no one here is like beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba, who's just an asshole.
Which is for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all like later on, like, they're all later on Kaiba without being an asshole. They're just like, oh no, we're strong, but like we respect people and stuff. And I'm like, I guess that, well, I'll get to that when we wrap up this. Because it's something about this season and the other season all together, so I'll save that for later.
Fair.
But we head back over to Tri-Fighters as Yuma is thinking, well, we can repair everything, we can tune it all up, but it might not be enough. We need something stupid. And he thinks of something stupid, and then immediately goes to Fumina's hotel room, grabs Winning, comes back, kicks Sekai out of the room, takes Tri-Burning, is just like, busy building, bye. Not telling the rest of the team what the fuck he's doing. So, Sekai is forced to just hang out with Mirai somewhere else in the hotel room. I'm surprised that this wasn't a thing to start with.
Yeah, kind of the same here.
Because I'm pretty sure we see in Mirai's room that she has 2 beds. Like, if Yuma is that upset about Sekai's story, he could have just told her to go be in Mirai's room for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
But after talking with Fumina about all this that Yuma's doing, he heads out to grab him food, which causes him to run into Junya, who's back. What were you going to say?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, okay. Which, Junya's here to show Sekai a fancy move that will be a plot important later for 5 seconds. And I guess just to punch him.
Well, I mean, he's got a punchable face.
So he gets shown this move and then knocked out, and he's just kind of left in the grass as Junya leaves and runs into Suga. Why are these two just buddies all of a sudden?
Good question.
Just all of a sudden they're buddies. But I also do like that if you look at Suga's car, you actually see damage on it. Meaning he has crashed it.
In the, what, at this point, week that he has been driving?
Yes, the week he has had his license, yes. Because he'll crash it again at the end of the scene, because you hear him crash it.
Like, yep. Sounds about right.
Hey, I got Master Chief Collection finished.
Yay.
Oh, you've got it downloaded now?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But meanwhile, Ral gets told by Fumina all of what's going on, and he notices that Minato shows up, and he's just like, "Oh, I guess you're here to help. Guess I'm just gonna let this happen." I love how it's just secretly this running joke in the series that Ral is a super smart genius person is the reason this team is succeeding when he has done almost nothing.
Yes.
Ral has done nothing but just be supportive person, and that's kind of it. It's not like he's opened up some secret strategy for everyone.
I mean, he's existed, so that must mean that's why they're winning.
A lot more, and I'll just rank.
Except I
People
don't
super
think
hard
that's how that
underestimating
works.
Tri-Fighters in of themselves.
Yep.
But Minato gets to the hotel room just as Fumina opens it, storms in, wants to talk to Yuma, realizes what Yuma's doing, and is like, "You're not finishing this solo. I'll help." So he sits down and starts working, while Fumina just gets to sit there and watch these two bounce off each other because they are two idiots who refuse to stop being angry at each other.
Yep.
Because they also argue while working and somehow are better and faster at working when they are arguing with each other.
I mean, shouldn't surprise you.
No. Anyway, she is the one that finds Sekai unconscious outside, pokes him away. And this is when we find out that Sekai is sad that he's not as good of a builder as the rest of his team. And he feels like he's letting him down in that aspect. Which will lead to his decision at the end of this episode that we'll get to, or no, at the end of this episode, in the next episode that we'll get to in the last episode for a little bit, because it's a small part of this giant epilogue episode that crams a lot in for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But he eventually heads out, brings the food, meets with his team. They work on Yuma's trump card plan, which I guess he now tells them what the plan is, since they're all there to help.
I would hope.
But that takes us to the next day when the finals happen. Shimon's there with his brother, who's called Mamoru. Was he named in the episode before?
Yes.
Okay, I'm crazy. I thought he wasn't named till now.
No, he was.
Okay. That's my fault. But Mamoru being 5 years old or something is just like, "Hey brother, which one of these three girls is your girlfriend?" Because Gyako and her team are there with him. And look, the answer is obviously Gonko, because these two hang out with each other too much to not be together by some point later in the series. Because that's
Yes.
how this show works. Like, as much as Gyako wants Sekai, she knows better.
Oh, she's not getting him. That's for sure.
No, he's spoken for. Anyway, we see both teams get their pep talks. Fumina gets to have one more talk with Lady, and Lady's just like, "Hey, if you beat them, you get to fight me," which we'll get to see 5 seconds of. And then
I think
Must I put
my
together a
internet
list of
tried
fights
to
I
take
want
a
to
derp
see?
there. So you might rewind there.
Okay, I was about to say both teams were getting their pep talks. Or do I need to go back further?
Yeah, right around there.
Okay, I was just saying that and Fumina talked to Lady, and Lady was just like, "Hey, you get a match with me after this." And we get to see 5 seconds of said match. And I'm disappointed because add that to the list of matches I want to see after this series.
Yeah.
God damn it. But we see that all eyes are on the finals, including like Yuma and Sheena's family restaurant is like packed with people. And in Paris, Sheena calls over Sei to watch the finals. And if you notice, the table is set for 4. I wonder who is watching this finals with Sei and Sheena.
Yeah. You know, more than likely the the one other person that hasn't been named, and yeah.
Because like the other answer would be, oh, it's Sei's parents, because we see China's parents are at the restaurant. But I have to remind folks, one, Sei's dad goes around doing Gundam cop stuff all the time. He's not around all the time. And 2, who's running the shop?
Yeah.
So again, why would both of them be in Paris?
Yeah. One, maybe. Both, yeah.
No. I'd also really like to remind people we will get a message from Sei to Sekai at the end of this next episode. I am fully assuming that is prompted by someone else in this room. But anyway, it is the space colony from the fight between Build Fighters or Tri Fighters and Gyonko's team. It's that same space colony, I assume, because it looks like the same one. And everyone deploys and heads off, and we end the episode there because the entire next episode is dedicated to this fight. So how'd you feel about the first half?
Definitely a good build-up all the way around. Like that's one of those that, yeah, I feel like so much with these 3 episodes just lead into the culmination of what truly is the next episode.
Yeah. The next episode where we go and get to see these 6 people all fucking obliterate their Gundams.
Yeah.
I forgot the extra note. At the end of this episode, a doctor shows up in the arena and notices that Saga's fighting. Guess who lied about his doctor's note?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good set of episodes. My only disappointments come in the last episode of the series. Because everything to this point is good. Well, I guess the only other thing is I wish Celestial Sphere got more time to do stuff in the tournament proper. Like, I kind of wish we got to do one more match with them. But that would require them to have someone to build up to fight against. Which we don't have. Because I'm pretty sure White Wolf would have been nothing, considering Lucas obliterated them.
True.
But anything else before we hit the second half?
Can't think of anything.
All right, then. We kick off with episode 24, Final Bust. Tri-Fighters heads inside the space colony and set up an ambush. More or less, they're watching the 2 doors into the space colony. And whatever door they come in, they're shooting it. And Celestial Fear knows this and decides, we're going to trip this ambush. And it is a very, very quiet first couple of minutes as everyone's just waiting. But finally, Celestial Sphere attacks. Wilfred charges in one door and then lays covering fire. Shia charges in through the other door, takes Yuma's full-blown sniper shot that only breaks her shield. But Saga decides, fuck the space colony, and blows a hole in it. And depressurizes it. Which means at this point, everyone splits up accordingly for this fight. So Sekai fights Wilfred, and Fumina and Yuma fight Shia and Saga. This fight is a little, fast in this episode, so if I miss details, it's because a lot happens in this fight, and we cut back and forth a lot. It's a good thing we split it from in a 1v1 and a 2v2 situation, because otherwise 3 1v1 fights would be nightmarish to try to keep up with. And I think would have required 2 episodes.
Yeah, probably would. I feel like you're probably right. That's the easiest way of doing that.
Yeah. And it kind of makes a weird amount of sense because of Fumina and Yuma. It makes less sense with Shia and Saga, but at least we have that partnership with Fumina and Yuma to carry the 2v2.
And I also feel like that's probably why it works so well.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's more for the fact of that, and on the alternative side, you've got the respective rivals for each of them. So that's why it kind of ties it together really nice there.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, the doctor walks up to Adam and be like, "Yo, Saga lied about his doctor's note. He is not clear to fight." And Alan calls it, is just like, "Saga, you are not clear to fight." And Saga's just like, "Shut up. Yes, I am. Go away. I'm busy." And he's just like, "Well, I guess I'm letting him fight because he's not taking my calls anymore." And it's not like I can walk up there and tap him on the back of the head being like, "Sir, you are not allowed to fight anymore."
Except for that's exactly what he could do.
Yes. Because... reminder, folks, these pods they're in they're created by the Blavatsky particles are not solid.
Yeah.
You could just walk through them.
As we have seen, actually.
Yeah, several times.
Have we in Tribe?
I don't think so. In Try.
I don't think we have in Try. But in Build Fighters, yes, we have.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Which makes me wonder one thing, since they're all next to each other. How are they not soundproof? They have to be soundproof, right? Because they can clearly hear each other through them.
Yeah. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah.
That's the one weird thing of just we can't call him. You are 2 inches away from him.
Well, and now that throws a question into the one episode where, they couldn't communicate with each other because they were being jammed.
Yeah. Because I also like to remind people, when Sekai's doing his fancy Jigen Hallyu Kempo, he is screaming it. How the fuck do they not hear him?
That yeah.
It's like the one thing I just have to ignore in this series, because I'm like, okay, if I don't do this, all the drama goes away.
But that's what's so weird. We've seen, even in Build Fighters, the opponents not being able to hear each other. Mm-hmm. So that lets me overlook Sakai, announcing every move he does.
Right.
But the whole comm thing, I'm still a little baffled on, because of how many times in Build Fighters, Sei would be telling Reggie something and just walk through the field and continue talking.
Yeah.
They clearly could hear each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, I know, headcanon, they're in the same Gundam. Okay. Sure, but no.
Except the Tri-Fighters, they're all in separate ones. But they're all only separated by a transparent wall.
Unless them particles are very dense, that doesn't work.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure Sekai actually screams all of his moves over the speaker in his Gundam.
He probably does.
I'm pretty sure he does because people have reacted to him saying the words several times.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. And it might be a case of he might not know how to cut the comms off.
Of course not.
Because I could completely see that too.
This is Sekai. He doesn't know what buttons are.
I mean, that's why he's so good at only punch.
Yeah.
Until actually this fight.
Look, it's punch but pointy. That's the difference. It's punch but pointy.
I started to say until the last fight, but no, actually it's this fight. He does only punch in the next one.
Yep. No, he uses his sword once.
In the final episode, I didn't think he did.
Yeah, he uses it to cut a bunch of missiles like one time in like a 5-second scene.
Oh.
Like towards the end of the episode. No, the sword is functional. It's not there for decoration. Anyway, back at the episode proper. We're back with the fight. Yuma's fighting Gundam the End. He shoots down all of Saga's fangs, which we now reveal are remotely operated by Saga. He's controlling them all independently at the same time, which is why he has wrist issues of unknown variety in one hand, even though he's doing them in both.
I'm wondering, though, if he always controls all of them, or if he might have, like, preset patterns that they can follow.
He probably has some preset patterns and stuff. It's just when he's going super hard, he goes, like, all in. No, I'm remotely operating all of them.
Right.
It's kind of like how she, I guess, has probably repair routines for her robots that she just has to type away and tell them to do what to do.
Which would be far more sensible than trying to control, in her case, 6 different mechs at the same time.
Yes, all operating on potentially different parts of a Gundam. Performing very microsurgery.
Well, bear in mind, I think didn't they say there was 5 of them?
Yes.
And then she still got to operate the main Gundam.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Yuma tries to shoot the end, but it gets absorbed into the chest. Because, of course, he can absorb a shot like that. Fumina and Shia battle for a little bit, and Fumina actually baits out Shia blocking her sword with her shield, so she can get her funnels all around Shia and try to blow her up, only for her to be saved by Saga. Sekai goes Burning Burst, Fumina goes Real Mode, and now everyone's just like, fuck it, fire in the big guns. So every single one of them fire their biggest attacks. So Sekai's like, how can Fumina's winning beam, Yuma in his big ass sniper shots. I think Saga does dead end finger, and then like Shia and Wilfred do whatever their big attacks are that they don't call out because they're the only people who don't call out attacks that aren't Yuma in this fight. But all 6 of them try to shoot at each other and end up having all their shots collide in the middle, which obliterates the fucking space colony. and somehow not all 6 of them at the same time. Like, when I mean obliterated, I mean there's like one big piece left, and it's like the rock the space colony was built on, mostly. Everything else is fucking debris and gone. Because, like, the only 2 left in the space colony, and specifically left on the rock, are Sekai and Wilfred. Everyone else got blown out to space.
Yeah.
And somehow aren't dead.
Which with them, it makes sense. They probably were far enough away from the explosion to where they kind of got pushed out of it.
Except, based off the one shot we have of the 6 shots going forward,
there is no way.
They are all equal distance from it. The only difference is if you are on the left side of the explosion or the right side of the explosion. They are all equal distance from this nuke that you've all created.
Or the rock side of this explosion.
Yeah.
You did forget that part of it.
Yeah. So we're back to fighting like we were before. Sekai and Wilfred battle, and as he's almost got advantage on this, he finds out, oh no, Wilfred's spears are technically funnels and can like remotely operate on their own and fly around and smack him in the face for a while. Well, that's a problem. But then we check in with Yuma and Fumina, who are patching themselves together. I guess, well, Yuma's actually damaged because he loses an arm and has to replace it with one of his swords that he just jams in there. It's like, that's how that works, right? That's a proper whole connection.
Yeah, I mean, if it fits, it ships.
Yeah. But the 4 of them fight again. Fumina actually drags Shia away so Yuma can fight Saga. Yuma manages to corner Saga after some fancy flights, but he does lose a gun. But he ends up damaging Saga a good bit, even using Fumina's sword to help. But the small little tiny robot that's inside Gundam the End guts lightning and destroys it, so Yuma's stuck with his flight backpack for the rest of the fight. And Fumina is just barely functional at the current moment because of the damage she's taken. So Yuma just sticks his backpack on the back of Fumina, and they run to give themselves time to get back up and running, which gives Shia and Saga time to repair Gundam the End as best they can, because G-Potent's barely taking any damage. Meanwhile, we check in with Sekai, who's holding his ground against all the spear funnels, until he recognizes the fancy move that Junya showed him, and he's just like, all right, I know how to counter this. Make a giant flaming sword. How? Because I can, I guess. So it destroys at least one of the spears and knocks Wilfred into the wall. And Wilfred's like, ah, fuck, he's getting better mid-fight. Oh, no. Uh-oh. He's still figuring out he can do stupid bullshit.
Yep.
But back outside, Yuma gets winning back up and running. And the 2 of them share a nice little moment where it's just like, if this was the actual Gundam series, we'd be fucking dead right now, or we are gonna die. And they're like, yeah, oh well. I love that they acknowledge it's just like, nah, we're not making it out of this one. We can't beat them without blowing ourselves up in the process. But we check in with Shia and Saga. Shia's got Saga's Gundam functional enough to fight, but that's the best she can do with what they've got on them. But that's when Yuma and Fumina show up. Fumina fires a massive winning beam at the pair of them, which Shia tries to block, only for her shield to break because, shit, it's too strong. So it ends up decimating hers. She's down an arm and a leg. Saga's barely functional still. Or Saga's still kicking, but on his last leg. And Fumina is drained and non-operational at the moment, but not dead, technically. Also, this giant blast cracks a hole in what's left of the space colony, so Sekai and Wilfred have a hole to get out and watch the rest of this fight between the four of them. So Sekai shows up in time to watch Yuma drive his backpack directly into the gut of Saga. And as he tries to eat him with his chest mouth, just fills him full of missiles. Just every missile he has on him from on the one side until they both go kaboom. And they're out. Shia, G-Potent, still functional, charges at Fumina, tries to stab her in the chest with her sword, only for Fumina to barely get winning functional enough to rip its head crest off and stab Shia's G-Potent with it, blowing them both up, and it's now 1v1 between Wilfred and Sekai.
You know, the match that everyone wanted to see.
Yep. Wilfred, at this point, deciding, fuck this, I'm done. I'm ending this. Goes transient burst and starts just chipping pieces off of Sekai's tri-burning. He takes a leg off and then immediately tries to go for the head, only to crack the crest. And the time limit is called. Just as it cracks. We have reached the time limit. And with both sides down 2 fighters, we enter into overtime. So 1 representative from each team, as it was explained in the rules, will fight, and whoever wins that match wins the match. And considering there's only 2 functional Gundams left on the either side, or left altogether, it's Wilfred versus Sekai, and both teams get 3 minutes and whatever they have on them that was used in the battle to repair. So they can't even use spare parts and stuff that they have on them to repair the Gundams. They just got to use whatever they have available to them. Which is, a harder rule than it was in the original series.
Yeah, because it was just whatever you had.
Yeah. So Shia repairs Transient the best she can, throws her weapons on there because they're the only ones compatible. There's nothing she can add on from Sagas onto Transient, I guess. I think it's also because there's probably barely anything left of Gundam DN at this point.
Fair.
Whereas Yuma reveals his final trump card that took him and Minato up until the morning of the finals to do, which was to make all 3 of Tri-Fighter's Gundam compatible with each other. That way they can swap parts. So everything that Sekai doesn't have on him, like his leg, a backpack, and all that, they've just slapped what was left of Winning and Lightning onto it to make it functional. So once more, it's like the final episode of Build Fighters, where we've got the 2 Gundams that are barely functional but are repaired to fight it out. And it's about the length of that kind of fight, too.
Yeah.
Except in this case, the 2 fighters go, nah, fuck it, we're just throwing haymakers at each other, or we're just going to see who flinches first. So the battle is set on a desert. It's Wilfred versus Sekai, Transient versus Tri-Burning. And this fight gets the first opening played during it.
Which I also felt was fitting for 2 reasons. And as far as this whole thing. one that does the normal, brings us back around in a full circle.
Mm-hmm.
But technically for Sakai, that actually does bring him into a full circle. The first map he got to play on was a desert.
Yep. I also love that to start the song in the match, we get our normal, battle start sign that Wilfred just fucking smashes on his way through. Like, nah, fuck it, get out of here. It's fight time.
Yeah. Which makes you realize that is actually on the field.
That is a physical object anyone could have destroyed at any point. Hell yeah. So, neither one decide to fuck around for this fight and immediately start swinging. And I think Sakai even tries to take off one of Wilfred's arms right off the bat. And I think he does, but I don't think it shows for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, I don't think it does show for the rest of the fight, but I thought he did too.
But it shows him getting a hold of something and ripping it off on Wilfred's Gundam. I just don't know what. So yeah, they start taking shots at each other, throwing haymakers. They eventually collide heads before they back off and both pop their super modes. And charge in with Transient with its spear and Sakai with his fist. They collide, both of them losing because Transient's spear is destroyed and Sakai loses one arm. Thankfully, he can punch with both of them.
Yeah.
So after this collision, they bounce off each other, come back around, this time Sakai using the power gate, or the Plavsky power gate from Winning's funnels, to charge up his punch. Wilfred has no such thing and just charges in again. Now they're both in these kind of energy forms, or at least surrounded by energy. Sakai is surrounded by like the Phoenix thing that he's used before, whereas Wilfred's surrounded by blue tiger flaming thing. Look, it's fucking cool. Just go watch the episode. I can't do this justice. So these two things collide again. They intertwine, go up into space, and as they collide again, create a fucking black hole that starts sucking in parts of the planet that they are fighting on, only for the black hole to explode and taking out part of the planet. Like this big, massive chunk of the planet, on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the stupidest thing Sakai will do all season. That
Literally punch a black hole into existence.
Yes. He punched a miniature black hole into existence that lasted long enough to blow up a planet. I love this series. It's so wonderfully stupid. I love it. But as the dust clears and everyone's looking to see who won, Yuma actually chimes in at this point to deliver a message from Sei to Sakai. And Sei pretty much tells him, I want to fight you, meet you at the World Championships. And as the dust finally clears, we see Transient fucking shredded into barely held together pieces and try burning, fist held out, standing tall, Build Fighters wins. It is a glorious image. Because bear in mind, like all those pieces that he got from Lightning and Winning, gone. They're destroyed. Try burning, fucking shredded. It is barely held together as well after this. I don't think they can repair it anymore. But they do because we see them later. All three of them later. So, yeah. Tri-Fighters wins because, I mean, why else wouldn't they not win?
I mean,
But
yeah.
it's still a really cool way to end. But we're not done yet because we have one last episode, and it's a big old epilogue episode. It's episode 25, Our Gunpla. So we're at the Meijin Cup as Zaku Amazing and Camper Amazing are fighting, and we'll find out the two of these are controlled by the two Meijins in an exhibition match. I love that Yuki just keeps these.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that he's kept them. I'm just sad he doesn't have Amazing Exia anymore, because I prefer him with Amazing Exia.
Fair.
Granted, the Amazing Exia he uses properly is the one with the cloak, and cloaks are my aesthetic. So, hard bias right there. So they do a little exhibition match before everyone just kind of goes off to see like all the entries for the contest. We see a bunch of different Gundams that are referencing stuff that I don't know really, but they're here and they look cool. So yay. But one of them is disqualified, and it's this big giant station that made's by that one asshole that
that no one remembers his name.
Yeah, that Shia blew up. It just styled on him.
That I also love the fact that you didn't get his name either.
I didn't even bother to get his name. Hey, Charizard.
Hey, Charizard.
Hello.
But I also love how the brothers are even like, who the fuck is this person? And I'm like, you've met him like, this is the third time you meet this person. You incredibly do not give a shit about this guy.
He's just got such a forgettable face.
Mm-hmm. Hey, thanks for the host.
Yeah, except for I don't know if the alert actually went off because, yeah.
It went off for me.
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, it did go off. Whoops, I've got the music over top of it.
I should be auto-hosting, but I'm not sure.
Auto host won't actually show it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's only if you host in the middle of a stream does it matter. Oh. What are you missing? I assume it's something like stupidly hard to get a hold of. Because those are the worst ones. Oh, a lot. Oh, that's the other problem is when you're missing a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the brothers say that he's disqualified because he made something too big. Which, I guess is a rule? They don't go into the rules.
At all.
No. Meanwhile, Shimon and pretty much everyone else from the first tournament are here just to be here and talk about stuff. They see 400 and 324. That's 86?
76.
76. Might have had an extra 10. No, 76. Ugh. 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 But yeah, we see Yuma's. He's got a new Lightning. This is Lightning Zeta Gundam. I think it's the one he uses in Tri-Island Wars. I don't remember. Because I know for Tri-Island Wars, Shia shows up in that one. She has something new. She has a new version of G-Potent. Sekai and Fumina don't change their Gundams from where they are currently. So it's still the one to be introduced in this episode in winning. It's just Sekai can do more stupid bullshit that they came up with.
Fair.
Really stupid shit. Like, if there was ever a thing you should call foul on, it should be what Sekai does in Tri-Island Wars. Oh yeah, isn't it technically 2? Because you have the Ryuki one, and then it's the Master Grade double. I think that also got announced this week. But yeah, like the normal Figure Eye series, you have Ryuki, but there's like I think it's like a Master Grade, like higher end double kit that's coming out. That like, hey, do you want some really small memories to lose? But yeah, the Ryuki one's cool. I dread when we watch Dragon Knight next week because I might end up liking it enough that I'm like, okay, where can I get Ryuki Knight and Femme? because they're the core 3 of the series. I ain't about to track down all 13 writers from that series. Fuck that.
Oh, come on. You know you want to.
Look, I would if there was an easy way to get all of them with their contract beasts, because that's the only way I would want to display them, is them with their contract beasts.
Fair.
Because Ryuki riders without their contract beast kind of takes something away that's unique to Ryuki in the franchise. Because they're the only ones with that stuff. No one else in the franchise has that. To date, I will say. like the closest thing right now is technically Saber, with like the dragon for Brave Dragon and the lion for Daisenki. But even then, the dragon's the only one that's ever really been used so far, and that was for Draconic Knight alone. Anyway, back in the episode proper, they also end up seeing Monato's and have a good laugh about it. This is one of those things that's just like, okay, this irks me, because they decided to make a big joke about it, and I'm like, no, somebody should be more upset about this than they are.
Yep.
I'm kind of with Fumina, where I'm like, nah, I want his head on a platter right now. Fuck him. That's a line crossed. But anyway, speaking of Fumina, we check in with her as she's outside waiting for Raul and Yuma to show up. This is actually when we find out that Sekai is gone. We see him, he left a note saying, hey, on a training trip, be back soon. And we also see a pouch next to it. I'm wondering if he left Tri-Burning there.
Maybe?
Because I'm not sure if he left Tri-Burning with them or he took Tri-Burning with him when he went on this trip, considering what he comes back with.
I feel like he took it with him.
Probably. I just noticed the pouch and I was just like, oh hey, that's like the pouch that Sei has. I wonder if Tri-Burning's in it. But it's kind of like off from the note, so it's probably not supposed to be that. But we also find out that Yuma and Minato have this agreement to not see each other's Gunpla until the results, because they want to be surprised by who wins.
Yeah, sure, that's it.
Yeah.
It's definitely not because, he would so tell Fumina, and then heads would roll.
And then Fumina would be like, you are dead. No, you're dead. No, you're dead. I will find you and I will break you in every conceivable way possible. But after they talk about this, they head inside, and this is a sweet moment because this little girl recognizes Fumina from the championships and says she wants to be like her before Fumina's like, oh, you can do it and stuff. And she heads off, and I'm like, that is fucking adorable, and I love it. I can't help but like this moment because I'm just like, aw, Fumina gets to be the hero that she wants to be for a minute because she got to inspire someone. But this is immediately dunked on because everyone else shows up and everyone starts laughing when they see Fumina. And Fumina's like, what are you guys laughing about? And they're like, nothing. Because no one wants to tell her. And even the crowd starts to recognize her. And they're like, oh, that thing. And her. And no one decides to tell her. Granted,
I almost...
We'll get to it.
I almost feel like that's a case of they want to see reaction.
Yeah. They want to see if she'll just straight up murder someone today. Anyway, we move over to the announcements. Lady gets to announce the juniors, which is like the little kid ones, and Yonko's little brother, who looks exactly like the guy from the first season who wins it.
Yep.
And then declares Shimon's little brother Mamoru his rival because it was a really good Gundam. And it's like, oh, he got a rival. Okay, I'll take that. That's kind of cute.
That's death. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on
But not at that
I'm-
point yet.
I'm on chapter 7. I'm at the lift going down when the polyps hop on you.
Oh, and CE?
Yeah, I fell off the elevator.
Oh.
I did that a good bit yesterday in 2. Anyway, Yuki's the next one to announce them. And he announces it as, I think it's like entry 6, which is Minato's number, until he's like, wait! I didn't
No.
read the line right.
Opposite. 9.
Oh, okay. He read it as 9, which is Minato's number, and he's like, "Yay!" And then Yuki's like, "Wait, I have it upside down. I forgot to see where the line was." Turns it around. It's entry 6, which is Yuma's number, and Minato is immediately turned to dust. Fuck him, hell yeah! And I love that Yuma just walks by him and is just like, "Fuck you!" It just takes his award. And then Minato storms the stage. It's like, but I did a good job. I did so good. And Yuki's like, no. But he's
Yeah.
like, no, you have.
I love how the reaction here was just like, no, you didn't.
No, sir.
You did a goof.
You did a bad.
You can tell the feeling right there. It was like, yeah, no, you might want to go sit down.
Wait, so what did he do that was wrong?
We just got to it.
Almost
So,
there.
yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
Minato decides, no, you haven't seen like what I did, and then shows it. It is a Gundam that is Fumina. Like, it actually looks like Fumina in a maid outfit with a bunch of guns and stuff.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And of course, I love that we cut to Sekai first, who's just like, the fuck is this? And then we pan over to Fumina, who is about to murder a fool. As he's just like, you fucking son of a bitch, I will end your life right now.
That is hilarious.
So she storms the stage now, ready to throttle this man. And of course, Yuki's has to be like, well, first of all, you didn't get her permission to do this to start with. Bad number 1. But didn't elaborate on the rest of the bads besides the fact of, maybe don't do this. But they do end up going, well, if you want to sell this with Yuma, we'll just fucking have a gunpla battle. And just fucking the arena just starts popping out from under them.
And I love how the entire area is a battlefield.
Which I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
That might be for that one.
Yeah.
Like, that might have been specially designed as that. But yeah, that's not normally how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta have big battle.
Yeah. But yeah, they was just like, go have a battle about it. But I was like, fight me, Yuma. And Yuma's like, fine, okay. He doesn't even seem to be that upset about all this. Fumina's the only one actually upset about this.
Yep.
And I feel bad for her because it just turns into one big joke. Because also there's a bunch of guys below the stage, and Fumina has to be like, don't you fucking look up that skirt, you son of a bitches. Also, one of them is Suga, that Yobi immediately puts into a chokehold. And I'm like, good on you, Yomi. Choke his ass out. But as we more or less don't really get a fight between the two of them, all of a sudden, Sekai shows up in the battle. Not with Tri-Burning, instead with Kamiki Burning Gundam. That is his own original Gundam. That is still technically Tri-Burning in a lot of respects. But now he has a sword on his back. So he tries to fight Minato. And at this point, Fumina is, I guess, distracted by this because she's just like, okay, I'm not angry at Minato anymore. Sakai, where'd you build this? How'd you build this? You're not that good. And that's when Shia shows up to be like, hi, I helped him. And of course, she acts flirty about it. And this, of course, not only pisses off Fumina, but also Yonko, because fuck you, I am gonna wingman for Fumina on this one. At least Yonko's a good friend. So, after finding this out, the two of them not deciding to fight Minato about, the fucking Fumina Gunpla. No, both of them attack Sekai because both of them are pissed at him, not telling them he went off on a training thing with Shia, which he's just like, no, I went off for training. I wanted to surprise you because, I wanted to show you that I got better at stuff. And of course, they're pissed about him being alone with Shia, which he doesn't understand because he's too dense. Which, to be fair, he would understand if he explained it to them, but they're also too stubborn to not explain it to him.
Yep.
So, welp. The drama thing I kind of don't like about the series.
And it's also kind of Fumina's fault for not letting Yuma, tell him.
Yeah. Once more, the drama thing I kind of don't like about the series. So at this point, Yonko's brother also hops in to fight Sekai because fuck it. And then everyone else wants to fight. And now everyone else is in here. And it's a big giant battle royale between a whole bunch of people. And explosions and shooting stuff. And different Gundams are all around here. And just stuff is happening. But the one guy from before shows up with his big fancy star battleship and tries to shoot people. And everyone's like, fuck off, sir. And immediately blow it up. Because all the entries we saw that were from random people before also get to shoot this guy. We don't get to see who piloted them. We only get to see, like, a couple of the people from the first tournament piloting stuff. Like, Shimon's piloting Mamoru's Gundam. Which I find weird, because I would think Mamoru would be piloting his own. But, But after all of this big giant clusterfuck, Minato and Yuma realize, oh, we kind of got forgotten about. Which, to be about which for Minato, good. Fuck you. But they also turn around to see that Mirai is in trouble because she's being shot at by the leftovers from the big guy's battleship. So Yuma, in a fancy new thing that his Gundam can do, fires a replica of the Haoken. Which is kind of neat that Yuma's actually able to replicate it. And now they have two Haokens. But we never get to see them shooting them together and see what happens. We need a third season of this. Or what happens when they collide?
Probably don't want to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time one collided with anything, it kind of blew a chunk of a planet out.
Fair. So Yuma saves Mirai, but they see that, Fumina and Sakai are continuing to fight about drama stuff. until a massive explosion happens in the distance, and there stands Yuki, who's like, I want to fight too, and goes charging at the entire cast of season 2. Like, I'm going to murder someone here, and none of you can stop me. Except now Ral shows up with his Gundam and stops him, and then the two of them go and fight off screen. That's another one for the list of battles I want to see, is a proper battle between the two of them. Because we barely even got to see a proper battle between Ral and Yuma.
Yeah.
And we know what Rao's capable of from the last episode of the first season.
Oh, yeah.
So the two of them fuck off. Lady arrives now, challenging Fumina to her fight, only for Yonko and Shia to hop in as well. And Lady's like, fine, I'll fight all three of you at the same time. So they go in off screen now and leave. We only get to see like Lady and Fumina trade blows for like 5 seconds before they're gone, which leaves Sekai alone to fight Suga for a little bit, and then it stops because he's off on his own, and then he's just like, this is so cool. And then Yuma's like, hey, I'm jealous that you get to learn all this stuff for the first time, but this is all new to you and you get the new person experience. And then Fumina shows up, I guess not angry about the drama stuff anymore. So the three of them head off. Sekai actually shows off his new, I think it's his proper new Burning Burst mode, which is almost a direct replication of God Gundam's super mode, because it has the same halo ring on the back with the 6 like feathers on it. And this is when, because I forgot this, he actually names the Phoenix Punch, which is the Ho-Oh Haoken. So the three of them are ready to face the future, which for two of them means, fuck, we have to deal with everyone trying to apply to the club now. More people than we can fit in this building that is behind, this shed that is behind the school. We need a proper room now. I also love, I think that's a detail in there, that all the ladies are trying to get Yuma to sign them up.
Yep.
Nobody cares about Sekai. No, Yuma is the guy to go after on the team.
Not the guy that punches everything.
Mm-hmm. We also see Mirai, continues to do photo shoots for his agency, and the one girl that was pregnant has got a baby now. So I guess this is some amount of months later. Technically, it's a year later because of the last scene, but I guess it's like 6 months later because she has full baby. She went from not really looking pregnant to baby. But Shima and Gonkyo hang out and watch their siblings, do rival stuff, compare Gundams. Suga takes Yomi for a ride, and she looks frightened for her life. Suga,
Rightly
please.
so.
Yeah, Suga, please learn how to drive properly. Saga's getting his hand checked out properly this time, so, he's not going to retire because of injury, I guess. The Kijima siblings meet up with Lucas, I guess, in Europe for training. Like, bear in mind, there's music playing over all of this, so we don't get anyone speaking. So I don't know what the Kijimas are there with Lucas for, outside of, I guess, to train.
Yeah.
Or to learn from him or something. Because the next scene is Junya off where totally not Domonkashu is, I guess, to train under him again. And I love that we clearly see, yes, it is totally not Domonkashu. But we end the episode proper with Tri-Fighters entering the tournament, entering the local tournament again to qualify, declaring themselves as challengers, even though they are the champions. So, don't they technically have a round 1 bye? Because didn't the other team have a round 1 bye?
I think so.
I don't remember. I don't want to go look. But they're off entering another tournament, and that's where we end the series. There's only technically, there's 2 things after this. There is the collection of Build Fighters battle logs that take place between and after Build Fighters Try. Because that's also where we get like another matchup, a proper matchup between Sei and Yuki, along with a bunch of other episodes. And Tri Island Wars is after the series, after a certain point, and has nothing to do with the World Tournament, and is just Tri-Fighters and friends off on an island vacation and go meet Reggie and Isla's kid that has more brain cells than the 2 of them put together. So that is it, folks. So how'd you feel about these 2 episodes?
Oh gosh, that final battle.
Yeah, it's really good.
That, truthfully, they could have ended there and that would have had just as much weight.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of like the final episode enough to be like, hey, this is kind of, what happened after.
Yeah.
It feels like it's got so much potential to set up some kind of 3rd series, except it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Like I've said it several times, but so much of the 2nd season introduces people who would be perfect matchups against people from season 1, or even within their own seasons of just seeing these people fight again, because we didn't quite get to see those fights. I'm just like, that's all I want. And I know it feels weird for a character plot person to be wanting these fights, but it's because of characters and plot that I want to see these people fight. Which, isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of the point. I don't know if I put this anywhere, but if you make something where 2 people are fighting and you have no reason to care about why other person is fighting, you have made the most boring fight possible.
Fair.
Like, it doesn't matter how much choreography and how much work you put into how that fight looks. If someone doesn't care about either person involved in that fight, it's boring. Because you're not invested in anything at all.
Yeah, the fight just doesn't matter. I mean, that would be like watching all of Zexel and caring about any of those fights.
Well, to be fair, it would also be the same that could be said if you only cared about one side of the fight.
Right. It's only so much better. Because you at least care if one person wins or loses.
I mean, still, in the grand scheme of things, if you're only caring about one person in a fight, then guess who's winning?
Yeah.
I mean... And truthfully, there was not really any major ones because they tried to make them at least important to the episode. But there was even a few from Try that was kind of that one-sided.
Yeah. I think that's just an issue of going from 1v1 fights to 3v3 of, oh, we do not have the time to introduce enough teams to make every fight interesting.
Which is fair because really we could have had that same problem with Build Fighters.
Yeah.
We could have had that exact same problem. It's just they focused on which characters to build up that actually was relevant to the fights they were wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, that exact same thing could have happened there.
Mm-hmm. But this is really good. And the thing I was going to talk about earlier is something I just felt from this series is that this is just a show that shows like the good part of, I don't know if it's fandom is the word is what I'm looking for, but just like if you're a fan of something like this show shows you people in how you should be. You should be accepting and should be going, hey, let me show you this thing I love. Which is why I like that there's no outright villains. Because there's not really any outright villains in the series that often. Because, like, who wants assholes and asshole fans? No one likes asshole fans. They're the worst. And it's just something I felt from both Build Fighters and Build Fighters Triumph. Just like, this is just a celebration of Gundam as like a genre and as a thing to be a fan of. And most of its characters are just fans of it. And just show like what a good fan is just someone who's accepting and is welcoming. And I really like that. It's why I don't mind that I don't get all the references, because I'm like, oh no, someone will get this reference. It's not me, but, you know, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Because just maybe you should just go watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have to completely agree with that.
It's like it's done a better job than both Decade and Geo combined of getting you to watch the series that they're trying to celebrate.
Okay.
I know. Very low bar.
I feel like it can be somewhat fair with Decade. Making that comparison, but Geo's nowhere close.
Yeah. Yeah, it just feels weird. I'm like, this feels like an anniversary, like celebration kind of show, and it's not. It's just a show, and I kind of dig that. I kind of wish more anniversary shows were like this, where it's like, we're not trying to celebrate every single aspect of every single show. We're just celebrating the franchise as a whole. And along the way, we pepper in things from different shows and stuff. And if you got it, cool. If not, we're not going to run you out of the room because you're knee-deep in fucking continuity. We're just doing fun things with stuff. Because isn't that how everyone started? Was seeing fun things with cool stuff?
I mean, I would think so.
That should be everything. I mean, you should do stuff because you enjoy it.
But anyway, that's my weirdly deeper take on this show. That is probably nowhere close to intention. Way nowhere close to intention. So yeah, Tri Fighters is good. Maybe not quite as good as Build Fighters, but still good. I just want season 3. Give me season 3.
You know that's not gonna happen.
I'm aware.
So wait, why do you know it's not going to happen? How old are the shows?
5+ years at this point.
Okay, yeah, it probably won't happen.
And like we've had 2 other build related series since then, and they're both Build Divers and Build Divers Re-Rise, and that's a completely different continuity, more or less.
Gotcha.
Like the last episode aired April 1st, 2015. It is 6 years old now. Ish. And I was about to say, there's not been word on a 3rd season for a while. Like the last thing for any of the build stuff on YouTube has been the Build Divers Battle Log, which debuted in November of last year. And that was after Re-Rise ended that year. So we're kind of in between theoretical seasons if we get another one of these. Because bear in mind, these are all on YouTube for free because that's just where Bandai has been putting them. Like, that's officially available for free on YouTube, for reference. And all of these are just really just to sell model kits, so... Anyway, next week we start our journey into the second American adaptation of Rider, Kamen Rider Dragonite. The better of the two. Because the first one is a very low bar to go over.
What was the first one? I don't remember a first one.
The first one was Saban's Master Rider, which got a backdoor pilot from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, I believe. That was an adaptation of Black RX. That is where Furbus comes from. That is also where, and I am pulling this up to make sure I get it in the right order. Actually, all of the first Sanshiro Riders did appear in Saban's Master Rider, but they were in order. Master Rider Warrior Leader, who is Ichigo. Unnamed Master Rider Warrior 1, who is Nigo. He actually goes unnamed in the episode. Master Rider Warrior Commander, who is V3. Unnamed Master Rider Warrior 2, who is Rider Man. V3, who is X. Rider Man, who is Amazon. Master Rider X, who is Stronger. Amazon, who is Skyrider. Strongman, who is Super 1. And Zekross, who is Zekross, because somehow he's the only one who got to keep his name.
Oh boy.
That's the tip of the iceberg with the series. Masked Rider is bad. It is bad. Like, people tend to ignore Masked Rider. Like, Masked Rider plus Dragonite's not doing well is kind of the entire reason Toei is very hesitant to bring Rider over into America, because 2 live adaptations of it failed. Hard. Hard.
It doesn't help that they're not good stories. Like, I guarantee you, if he did just line for line, the exact words that are supposed to be said, but in English, of Double, it would probably go over really well.
I would say Power Ranger Samurai says, probably not.
Power Rangers Samurai.
Yes, because
Yeah.
Power Ranger Samurai is a direct Google translating of the script at times.
Google Translate is terrible, though.
Bear in mind, I don't actually mean Google Translate, but it's more, it tries to bring over everything Samurai did verbatim, but forgets that Samurai is very entrenched in Japanese ideology and Japanese like culture.
Right.
So nothing translates well. Oops. So direct translation isn't always the answer.
I as good of a show as Double is, I don't believe it would fail.
Right.
Yes and no. Because bear in mind, you are trying to spin it as a kid's show. Double does feel more like a teen young adult concept.
Yeah.
So it might technically, in their eyes, be considered a failure also.
Well, I mean, that might be the problem. Maybe they are trying to push it towards the wrong audience.
But whereas I feel like maybe O's or Fours they might do better.
Oh, I love O's. I love O's so much.
Yeah. Also, if you're directly translating the scripts and just reshooting all of the out of suit sequences, why don't you just subtitle it and put it out on a streaming service? That would be less money.
Because as much as I have no problem with subtitles, okay, I watch Netflix, Hulu, I watch everything with subtitles, even in English, just because I don't know. It's there. So if I don't hear a word, I can look at the subtitles for reference to find out what I didn't hear. But for a lot of people, there's a lot of people that hate subtitles. By the way, I'm just going to say this. I swear to God, it's like people that don't like subtitles just can't read fast. Anyway,
Can't read fast or can't read, because that can be two different things there.
could be both, who knows? But the point is, like, for a lot of people, there's a lot of people that fucking despise subtitles and would rather have it in English. And you could do an English dub, but a lot of people also don't like watching movies that are English dubbed, that, the actors that are talking in the show or movie are not speaking the same language, so the lips don't match up. I know quite a few of them. I know quite a good bit of my family hates those kinds of movies, which is why they will never, ever get to enjoy the old samurai movies. Oh, anyway. But, like, that's why I'm saying, like, just do a reshoot. And it sounds like, yes, if you're going to go just do that, why not do it, just subtitle it and put it on a streaming service? But you're opening it up to a wider audience that way. Because there are people that can't read fast. There are people that can't read that might be interested.
Well, another issue is live action Toku is expensive. And there's going to be very few studios that are willing to put up the money to make that happen.
True.
And you'd have to find a network for it. And considering how much Nickelodeon does not like to deal with Power Rangers, they're not it.
At the bare minimum, the sub it, throw it up on the streaming service mentality is the smarter start.
Yeah.
I know people that were interested, like I told them that I was watching it and they were interested in the idea up until the point that they found out that it's all in Japanese and it's only subtitles. There's no English. And a lot of them were just immediately like, nope, not going to watch it. I'm not interested anymore. And that's just the mentality a lot of people have. They don't give it a chance just because they don't feel like reading.
Well, the stuff has to start somewhere.
Absolutely, but I mean,
at some point, like, unfortunately, then it's not.
wouldn't at least a semi okay quality dub, wouldn't that at least be worthwhile? I mean, that's the way I see it. At least that would be worthwhile.
You then have to hire voice actors and then have to do the scripting for it. And again, that costs more money than a subtitle. Because you have to pay a dozen or so voice actors, probably more, to voice the entire series.
Okay, but to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. I know that line's been used over and over again, but it's still the point still rings true. You're not going to be able to introduce it to the American audience without doing something other than just throwing subtitles on and saying, "There you fucking go." That's just, it's not going to work.
But okay, I'm gonna throw the opposite in there. Are you going to be willing to spend $5 million for something that might not actually go anywhere?
I mean, the same can be said about the original Kamen Rider. They could have said the exact same thing about the original Kamen Rider and just never did it because they were afraid it would fail.
Except
and then
for,
they never would have had the massive success.
Except for, quite frankly, the budget they had for the original Rider, as we've seen, is
2 shoestrings and a ball of lint.
Yeah. Basically, their biggest expense was the camera and whatever they were paying the people that weren't volunteers.
But they still they still went and risked what they were spending. That's my point. They still risked what they were spending to try to get it out there because they believed it could work.
But when you're talking about maybe, and this is probably even pushing it, 100,000 for a almost 100 episode series as opposed to 5 million for a 50 episode series, that's kind of a big difference.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like they're hesitant to bring it to America, but every time they've attempted to bring it to America, it seems like they really haven't put any fucking effort forth.
I will say this, Subaru has put a lot of effort into their stuff, and all they're really doing is just making stuff available with subtitles. And a couple things with dubs, because Absolute Conspiracy, which is more of a miniseries thing, has an English dub to it.
Okay.
But like, Subaraya started with doing subtitle works and started with doing English dubs, and it took till now for them to try to get in, for them to really get international with stuff. It took a while for this niche genre to get any traction. And also another thing with Rider is that Toei gets our money regardless of if they put out anything official or not. At the end of the day.
True.
But whether or not they make a single Rider series official, they get our money because we will buy the toys and stuff. So, in essence, we are screwed. Simply put, we are screwed regardless of what we do.
It's one of those, I feel like making it easier accessible is a starting point. Because even if you don't get new people necessarily interested in it, you might get a lot of interest in it from just people that don't want to keep touring on it all the time.
Right.
And that might be enough for them to be able to be like, oh, hey, look, $10 a month, you have access to all the Rider stuff subbed right now. And then down the road, we could start seeing other stuff come from it.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's a slow start, but it's got to build it somewhere.
Because, I'll be honest, truthfully, something like that, if it also had like simulcast for new seasons, might actually go over pretty good.
yeah, if I don't have to watch a live stream that sometimes just craps out for no reason when I'm trying to watch the episode live, yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, and okay, I can hear the other side of that. Well, what about the subgroups out there? Bring them in on it. Rotate them out.
All the subgroups are doing is just trying to make this thing accessible, and
Yeah.
you know that's like the first step.
All they'd have to do is reach out and be like, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this. Would you be interested in helping?"
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fucking nobody in the fan subgroups is getting paid for this ever.
I mean,
And like maybe dubs is the next step after we get subs, but like we barely have subs at the moment. Let's get some more subs out there, and then maybe at some point we can do a dub for the people who refuse to do subs and just want a dub.
Or,
Because-
I could reference something super obscure that is the most amazing thing on the planet. They could just go about it the way the people who made the anime Ghost Stories did.
That's the
'Cause,
one with the terrible dub, isn't it? That just is off script.
That is completely off script and completely absurd. Yes, and it's not a terrible dub. It is beautiful.
Okay, let's not bet the existence of the entire franchise in one part of the world on a fucking meme. 'Cause that's all you're doing is betting it on a meme.
No. I have watched the show, and every single episode and every single moment of it is just as beautiful as that meme. So, yes, I absolutely would love to see Kamen Rider with the absolute absurd adult humor of Ghost Stories. Hands down, would love to see something like that. That would be amazing.
Well, you have fun with that. Anywho, like I said, next Sunday we're starting out Dragon Knight. Thursday, I'm starting early, probably at around 7 o'clock. The Zenkaiser press conference is around probably 10 o'clock. I'm not sure. But Frozen Stratos and Matt Hunt will be doing their live stream at 9:30, and I'll be over there. So that's why I'm starting early. I'll be ending around 9. Friday is us hopefully getting Marvel and Alliance back on track after I derailed it super hard. I'll take that one.
well, no. I won't actually let you take that one all the way because, yeah, I almost did it beforehand. And I was also the one that said, yeah, sure, we can do it. I got the stuff.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
So, Saturday is something. Or, no, not
Really?
something. It's Monster Hunter Rise. Why did I derped and forget about that?
Wait,
I'm
what is
stupid.
Saturday?
One of the few times there's actually something planned.
We're doing the Monster Hunter Rise demo because it's got co-op and stuff.
Monster Hunter Rise?
It's the one that's coming out on Switch.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, is that on PC? Because, I'll join y'all.
No, but
No, that's
Ultimate
Monster Hunter
Alliance
World.
is on PC. You could join that. I'm begging for trouble by opening my mouth right now. We had a hard enough time getting us connected now that I'm thinking about that. Although
Yeah,
we
no, we
found that problem out.
Yeah.
But do I really want to troubleshoot another one? Could be worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have the stuff for Ultimate Alliance if you would be interested in joining that Friday.
I don't have Marvel Ultimate Alliance on PC. I have it on Xbox, but
We would be able to get you Marvel Ultimate Alliance on PC.
oh, okay. That works then. I'll sure.
Kind of missed that, did we?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be willing.
But that'll bring us back around the Sunday. So if you like what you've seen, drop a follow. Really appreciate chipping away at that affiliate goal. At TGSoon on Twitter gets you updates when we go live. Thanks so much. Point Discord and chat. This Discord link. Drop by, say hi. We have Dropbox for questions. Put us questions in there. We'll answer them. We'll see you next week, folks.